music is that? It's the hour recording. Crew back again with NFL Week 6 picks. Week 5 overreactions. It's the young Rottweiler, Ethan Hamilton.
Bow, bow, bow. I know that's not a bark, but fuck it. I was in the mood.
I like it, though. And I'm 007, Gage Sutton, back again, like we said, with another NFL video. If you guys like this series so far, we really appreciate all the support we've been getting on it so far. Make sure to subscribe, like, share this video with a friend, a lover.
Your
maybe.
lover's lover. Yeah. Her actual one, the one she likes. Make sure to share it with them over there.
And, if they're NFL fans, share it.
Probably. And if they're not, tell them to tune into the podcast. New podcast coming next week. Tap in. We're gonna have a very special guest, so be tuned in for that. But how you doing, man? It's good to be back.
It is good to be back. It was a crazy week 5. I feel like it's just been a crazy NFL season so far, man. And this series has been a lot of fun. Unfortunately, you're kicking my ass in the pick'ems right now, but I think that's just. I don't think it goes to show that I don't know ball. I think it just goes to show that like
I'm really good at. I need to. One of these days, I'm gonna start getting into betting because I'm finna go crazy with betting picks. I'm finna go crazy.
I made $45 this week for $5 bet.
Good
so
picks,
I'm like,
good picks.
Hey, not bad. But all right, man. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about week 5. There was a lot of craziness going on throughout this week. And I want to start with Sunday, because Sunday we started bright and early in London with the New York Jets and the Minnesota Vikings. And even though I was like half awake during this game, Aaron Rodgers was getting crushed. But I thought that the Jets saw like the most of the fourth quarter. I thought the Jets had a pretty solid effort against, one of, if not the best team in the NFL right now. Just off of everything we've seen from Minnesota, they've played so well. And I thought the Jets gave them a run for their money, which makes today's news so surprising. The New York Jets fire Robert Saleh only 5 weeks into the season. That's crazy to me. I mean, like, I know that he wasn't really doing his job, but I don't know. 5 weeks into the season seems like desperate to me. I think the Jets are really just looking for answers at this point. And I don't know if this was the right decision. E, what do you think about it?
I don't necessarily think it was the right decision, because I think with the Jets, it kind of stinks from the head down, right? I think firing Robert Saleh was going to happen eventually. I don't think he's a very good head coach. I think he's a very good defensive coordinator, but for the past 4 or 5 years has taught us he's not a very good head coach. Now, do I think this is solely his fault? No. I think the biggest issue is Aaron Rodgers. It really is. I feel like they gave him the keys to the castle. They let him bring in Joe Douglas, or have his influence in bringing in Joe Douglas. They let him bring in his offensive coordinator that he wanted, and Nathaniel Hackett. They let him bring in
crazy. He still has the job.
They let him bring in his wide receivers that he wanted, and Alan Lazard, and I think a couple more. I think didn't Randall Cobb play
last year? Yeah,
they let him bring his guys in, and they still have been mediocre on offense. And it's honestly cost them these games, especially the last 2. The 3 interceptions, I get it. The Vikings defense has probably been the best defense in football this year. But against the Denver Broncos, I get it. The Denver Bronco defense has been great too. But if your defense can hold Denver to 10 points, you can't, Aaron Rodgers, you can't give me more than 10 points.
See, I'm not going to put the blame on Rodgers, because maybe this is a Rodgers bias thing. I did grow up as a Packers fan, so just a heads up to our viewers. Just if you don't know, that bias might come in a little. But me personally, I just think Jets are gonna jet. Like this was, like you said, this was gonna happen at some point. We knew that Saleh was gonna get fired, and we knew that the wheels were gonna fall off this thing. Last year, it took 4 plays for it, and they were just like, "All right, well, we're gonna punt, try again next year." And I don't know, dude. Like, again, I'm with you. I think they were really disappointing losses. If Denver only puts up 10 points, you really should be winning that game. It doesn't matter how good their defense is. But the reality of the situation is Saleh and Rodgers have really only been together for 5 substantial weeks of football.
My thing,
early, man, too early.
it was too early to fire Salah. But I'm with you. I think it was too early to fire Salah. Like, you can't fire him after that. And I like that, not a conspiracy theory, but when Eric Mangini was on First Things First, he kind of brought up the fact that, like, the owner, Woody Johnson is his name, him having friends in London and probably having the embarrassment of losing that game, how they did, probably affected him. And I definitely think so. But at the same time, this is your bed. You have to line it. This is the team you built.
Yeah.
You shoot up the Zach Wilson pick. You try to recover it with Aaron Rodgers, which on paper made sense, but it's become a shit show. And if they don't make the playoffs this year, this will be an abject failure. Point blank period on everybody, especially Rodgers, though. Because Rodgers, keep in mind, this is when my Cowboys bias comes in. When he goes to Green, when 2018, Mike McCarthy gets fired halfway through the season, as you well know, because him and Mike couldn't get it along on offense. The offense was not working. Rodgers wanted the offense his way, and it just didn't work out. So Mike McCarthy was gone, right? They then bring in Matt LaFleur to come fix it, to come have a more modern take on the offense and to have a better relationship with Rodgers. And it worked for a little bit, but they couldn't get over the hump. They couldn't beat San Fran. And then towards the end of that, we kind of saw their relationship fray. The last year with the Packers, Aaron Rodgers was not good. Don't get it twisted. He was not good. And with the Jets so far, he's been terrible. It's people slack. There's no accountability coming from Rodgers. And even when you thought with the Jets, okay, that first year he's not going to be playing. He's going to be in maybe a mentor role for Zach Wilson. He was sitting on Pat McAfee talking about Joe Rogan, vaccines, and like he wasn't like, bro, like, shut up and throw the ball. What should he say? Shut up and dribble. Like, bro, I don't want to hear him do all this shit, especially if you're not playing good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the tough reality of it.
This is what he wanted. He tried to pull what Brady did going to the Bucks. He tried to pull what Matt Stafford did going to the Rams, and it hasn't worked.
No, I mean, it definitely has not yielded the results that many thought it would. But, I mean, he kind of was asking for it going to the Jets. I think most of the blame should be placed on the Jets and just the way that they manage their organization, because we still haven't talked about, I mean, this is a talking point from the very beginning of the offseason with Hassan Reddick, who hasn't even touched the field yet. It's just bad management.
That's another one too. And they brought him over knowing that he wanted a new contract under the assumption that he thought he was getting a new contract. And 5 games in, he still hasn't played. He still hasn't got his new contract.
See, to me, that's just organizational malpractice. I think like Rodgers, I will 100% agree with you. He has not played like Aaron Rodgers of old. But he's still a significant upgrade over what they had playing at quarterback last year.
But what has it resulted into?
Exactly. And like we're saying, it hasn't resulted in anything. They haven't gotten anything substantial done. And I guess this is why they had to make the change. I'm not in agreement with it, but that's just the way the Jets are going to roll, because Jets are going to jet. Ethan, what is your week 5 overreaction?
My week 5 overreaction, the Cowboys aren't completely in trouble. Now,
how do you say that?
Let me preface this, right? Me, you, alongside X, we went over the Cowboys and Steelers game. We previewed it, right? You, unfortunately, picked against the Cowboys. Unfortunate for your record. And me being a more optimistic, especially towards my hate for the Steelers, the Cowboys showed fight in me. I feel like through 4 games this year, prior to, they look soft. They look soft on offense and defense. Couldn't stop the run. Couldn't run the ball. CD and Dak looked out of sorts. The incendiary adjacent weapons, Tolbert, Ferguson, Rico Dowdle, all them boys have not played good on offense. And this game in Pittsburgh against a really good defense, the weather is terrible. Dak turned the ball over uncharacteristically 3 times.
3 times, yeah. Damn.
The last one was basically a punt.
Yeah.
Micah, DeMarcus Lawrence, Deron Bland, their second-round rookie, Nealand, which is their
Cooks.
No Brandon Cooks. None of those guys played. if you would have, like I said, before the game started, if you would have said that's what happened, I'll tell you Cowboys lost by 20. And some way, somehow, that was their best performance of the season. And they probably should have won by 20.
Yeah, I mean, but it's the Steelers.
No, we can't say it's the
no,
Steelers.
no.
We can't say it was the Steelers.
No. I'm not saying it in a derogatory towards the Cowboys, because I think it was an impressive win. The Steelers have a very good defense. They're well head coached, but they're always like in this like middling ground of like they're always going to have a winning record, and they're going to have games where they're still going to play their brand of football, but they did not look like they were executing.
But these were the games the Steelers always win. Bad weather, defense plays lights out. Not lights out, but defense gets a shit ton of turnovers.
Their offense was rough, though.
Oh, the offense was, but I think that's credit to Dallas. Dallas, like I said, back-to-back weeks where the defensive line and the front seven have kind of put it together, stopping the run. Now, you can say last week, hey, it was the Giants. It's whatever. The Giants ran for 200-something yards on the Seattle Seahawks. And the Cowboys held them to, what was it, like only like 36, 40-something yards rushing?
Yeah, I'll double check that. But yeah, I
mean, cock sources. Would we be saying cock sources?
Yeah, you be saying cock sources. I actually like try to see if the cock sources are accurate.
Then this week against probably one of, if not the best rushing quarterback in the National Football League. No Jaylen Warren, cool, but Najee's a solid. He's an okay running back. Again,
he's
Dallas
slow as shit.
He is, but again, Gage, no Micah, no DeMarcus Lawrence, no their second string D end. And they played the run better than they have all season with those backups.
The Steelers had 92 yards rushing the whole day. Najee 42. Just
bad weather.
47.
That's what I'm saying. That's impressive. Dak with CD basically not getting blanketed, but CD getting triple teamed all game, begging somebody else not named CD Lamb to beat them, and they did. Dallas was also able to run the ball. Rico Dowdle, besides that almost fumble that cost him the game at the end of the game, he had a solid game. What do you have? 20 carries for like 80-something yards, something like that.
Sources.
I'll
double check that.
But easily his best game of the season so far. Jalen Tolbert, hey, shout out to Jalen Tolbert. I dogged him the last game, or in the preview, talking about how I think Ryan Florney was the second best receiver in the game. I apologize. Jalen Tolbert, this is what number twos do. I think Jalen Tolbert is probably better than Brandon Cooks at the moment.
Whoa, okay. All right. I already
KaVontae Turpin had a pretty good game as well.
Okay, so
like I said, I don't think Dallas is complete. I'm not saying they're contenders. Don't jump. I'm not. Let's not jump the gun. But I don't think their season is absolutely cooked like we might have thought a couple weeks ago. I feel like they put it together. 2 impressive wins. It's two good string of games. 1 impressive win, and they put the Lions this week at home again. Probably going to be no Micah, no D-Law. They said Bland might be coming back this week, which is a big plus. Again, that's an all-pro corner. Like I said, we'll wait to see if this Detroit game, because Dallas somehow always gets lucky against Detroit.
Yeah.
If Dallas beats Detroit this week and is 4-2 going into the bye week, I'm just saying the division might not be Washington's all the way already.
All right. Well, I mean, you saw me on the Instagram page saying that I'm ready to take the jump off the ledge for the Washington Commanders. I still feel that way. I still think like they look really good, really impressive after another win this week too. But I'm with you. I think Dallas looked pretty good against Pittsburgh. The only thing I'm concerned about is just like I want to see consistent performances from the guys you mentioned: Rico Dowdle, Jalen Tolbert, KaVontae Turpin. If those guys can string together multiple strings of games like they just had, then I will feel a lot more confident about the Dallas Cowboys heading into the season. And let's see if they can continue it into week 6 against the Detroit Lions. And with that, we got our perfect segue into our week 6 predictions. Let's start with Thursday night football on Amazon Prime. We've got the 49ers visiting the Seattle Seahawks. How you feeling?
49ers visiting the Seahawks. Both these teams are in hot water. I know we've talked shit about teams like Dallas, Philadelphia starting the season. San Fran's probably been the worst out of those three. They've been really, really bad. And I know we could say injuries with McCaffrey, but they still have a pretty good roster outside of that. And they've stunk. This loss against the Cardinals, how they lost to Brock Purdy, game in INT, was bad. Was really, really bad. And now they're going into Seattle, and a Seattle team that, like I said, 2 weeks ago, they played Detroit, high-scoring game, missing a lot of defensive starters. It is what it is. Then kind of shit the bed against the Giants. Giants were able to run all over the field on them, got a really, really good dub. And that was at home. So it's both these teams need this win. Both these teams need this win to stop them from free falling.
I really feel the same way because I just think the Niners have had a tough time closing out games. Like, they start off really strong, and we saw it last week against the Cardinals where they just couldn't get the job done at the end of the game. So I want to see that from them. That really has nothing to do with their injuries or anything. You're a good enough team to get up into the game. You just got to finish the job. For the Seahawks, I mean, we had kind of talked about them early in the season, how like they started the season really strong, but I think it was kind of a product of just the early teams that they were playing. Yeah. I think the teams they were playing too were taken into consideration. And now you see them kind of playing teams that are a little bit tougher. And I mean, the Giants aren't even that good, in my opinion.
No, but the Giants, like I said, the Giants ain't no slouches. Like,
they're no slouch. Defensively, Sexy Dexy is a problem, man. We'll get to him in a little bit, I'm sure. But he was all over the Seahawks offense. Geno was having just a horrible game because he had no time to throw. Interior pressure was coming in all the time.
And I think Geno's had a pretty good year. He's leading the league in passing this year.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you go into advanced stat metrics, his EPA per play is pretty high up there too. So honestly, my pick this week, though, is going to be – I'm going to go with the Niners because I think even though the Niners have been the worst team in football this year when it comes to scoring points in the red zone and closing games out, I think they're second in trips to the red zone but dead last in touchdown percentage. But I just – this Seattle defense, man – like I said, I thought they started really, really well this year, but the injuries have absolutely cooked them. They can't stop the run. And I think, what's his name? Jordan Mason. I think Jordan Mason is going to have a solid game this week. I think they'll be able to score enough points in Seattle to get the job done. So I'm going to go with San Fran.
Okay. I think I am going to go with San Francisco as well. They've won, I think, their last 5 or 6 against Seattle. I don't see that changing. Even though they have had a lot of injuries, I just think they're a really good team. They'll figure it out. I'll take the Niners.
Bet.
Okay, so we'll move on to Sunday morning. I think we got another London game, if I'm not mistaken. At 8:30 in the morning, we've got Jaguars at Bears. If I wasn't waking up for Minnesota Vikings and New York Jets,
sure not waking up for the Bears.
I'm waking up for what do you think is going to happen in this game that we will probably both be asleep for?
Honestly, I know we've said this. What is it? The 4th week running. This is the game that Doug Peterson gets fired. I'm picking the Bears. I think Caleb Williams has played really, really good the past 2 weeks. Especially the connection between him and DJ Moore has been there and thriving. And I'm going to go with them. I'm going to pick the Bears to beat the Jaguars in London. And another coach is going to get fired after losing in London. Another owner is going to be mad and pull the trigger. I'm going with the Bears.
All right. This is a public service announcement to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Do not fuck me again, okay? Because I am picking you this week as the winners of this game in London. You're playing at home, in my opinion. This is what I consider the Jacksonville Jaguars' second home. It's not their first, because that's where the Cons want to move the team. I'm taking Jacksonville. They had a really good win last week. Trevor was hitting passes that we hadn't seen him hit in the last couple of weeks. They got their first win since last season. So, I feel confident. Give me the Jaguars in London. Don't make me come back to this podcast, Jacksonville, and regret saying that please.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, man. They might have you face down, ass up, because they're not winning this game. They're not winning this fucking game.
Hey,
All
man.
right. Next game, we got Bucks versus Saints, our first 12 o'clock game. I think the Saints, after playing their Super Bowl against Dallas, have kind of been stinky the last 3 weeks. That pumpkin Derek Carr is out with an injury, and I think an oblique injury. So we're going to see Spencer Rattler start this week, which I think Saints fans have been praying for. But I'm going to go with the Bucks. I think the Bucks pull out a win in New Orleans. I think they'll ruin Spencer Rattler's homecoming.
Okay, see, I'm really conflicted here because, a couple weeks ago when the Panthers started Andy Dalton, I took the Panthers just on the prediction of like, oh, there's a backup quarterback coming into the game, and they never really know what to expect. I don't feel like Tampa's going to fall for that. I feel like they're going to kind of know what to expect from New Orleans. What the hell, man? I'll switch it up, man. I'll go with the New Orleans Saints. Let's see what Spencer Rattler can do. This is another one that might come back to bite me in the ass. And,
yeah, no, like I said,
I'm so behind in the standings, but hey, this is what football is all about, man. Taking a chance on a team and Spencer Rattler. So I'll take the Saints.
For sure. Next game, we got up Commanders at Baltimore. Really, really good game against Tua. That I would not be sitting here thinking like, oh, Washington would be a premier team in the NFC early in the season before the season started. But yet here we are. We got Jaden Daniels and the Commanders in Baltimore against Lamar and the Ravens. I think it's going to be a really, really good game. Really, really good game. But I'm going to pick the Baltimore Ravens. I think they're on fire right now.
Yeah, I think Baltimore is just on a run, man. I was just talking about how impressed I've been by the Commanders and everything they've done so far this season, but Baltimore is on a whole different level. They had such an amazing game against Cincinnati last week offensively. Defensively, they were getting cooked by Joe Burrow, but that was just a Joe Burrow masterclass. I think the Ravens will pressure Jaden Daniels, and we will see him struggle maybe a little more than we have all season, but I don't know. I do feel confident with the Ravens winning this game, though.
Move on to the next game. We get Cardinals against your Packers. Who do you got?
Easy. Give me the Packers, man.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with you. Packers at home. I think the Cardinals got a pretty good win against the Niners, but I'm going to roll with the Packers.
Yeah, it wasn't the prettiest win last week, but I think Green Bay is they're going to start getting on a roll here now that they're playing. I think they have 2 straight at home. So
Jordan Love's able to get some games underneath his belt. So I'll pick y'all this week.
Yeah.
Next game, we got Colts at Titans divisional matchup. I think it's going to be a close game, as in boring and low scoring. But in the battle of 2 mid-ass quarterbacks, I'm going to pick the one with the Colts on their helmet. Give me Anthony Richardson and Indianapolis to beat Tennessee and Will Levis. And hopefully we get another Will Levis moment this week.
Yeah, that's those are starting to become just like a part of history, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, man, this is I think I agree with everything you said about that. But I do feel confident that AR is going to come back healthy and he'll play some solid football. I'll take the Colts here.
Bet that. Next up, we have Texans at New England. Drake May's making his first start in the NFL, but I think Patriots fans are keep. I know Dill, I know Jason is hyped. It ain't gonna mean shit though. I'm gonna pick the Texans. I think that defense, especially those 2 speedy edge rushers, Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson Jr. I think about to go nutty on them. I'm gonna go with the Texans.
Yeah, I don't know what the Patriots are thinking here. I thought the idea was for Jacoby Brissett to just be the guy who falls on the sword all season. Let Drake May learn, because this is kind of what you were trying to avoid, throwing him in there so early that he can't develop and do anything. He's just going to get destroyed, especially against a very good Texans defense. And CJ Stroud is playing some really good ball, so I'll take Houston as well.
Bet that. All right. Next game, we have Browns at Eagles. Eagles coming off a bye, fresh legs, playing against the Browns, who are, they're just not very good, especially
They're
offensively.
ass.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson. Yeah, those receivers fucking hate him. They don't catch no balls that he throws. Balls. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I think we get the dub at home.
Yeah, the Browns need a lot to go their way. Quarterback is the least of their problems, I say in quotation marks, because I mean it's just offensively they're so lackluster. The only thing giving them hope right now is that Nick Chubb could come back, but at this point, it's like you're 1-4. You're playing the Eagles at home. I don't think this is going to go well for them. I'll take the Eagles as well.
Bet that. All right, next one we got is Chargers at Broncos. First 3 o'clock game. Another divisional matchup. I think
this one's a little tough because Denver's been playing sneakily good football.
Defensively, yes. I think offensively, they've still been.
Well, even shitty. Then last week they ran the ball really well with Javonte Williams, and Bo Nix showed a little more than he's shown throughout the rest of the season. So, I mean, I'm not completely dead in the water. Did you see him arguing with Sean Payton too?
I love that. Sean Payton be talking nutty. He was talking nuts at Russ last year, and we're sitting here talking about like Russ.
Yeah, like, and Russ is just sitting there, just taking it.
Yeah. And Bo Nix don't know no better than not letting Sean Payton talk to him like that. I'm with it. It's not gonna make much difference for me. I'm going with the Chargers.
Ooh, yeah, man. I think I'm gonna take the Chargers here too. They're coming off the bye, and I just think actually I gotta check the injury report for this game because I know that Rashawn Slater, Joey Bosa are both questionable. Okay, I still feel good about that. I'll take the Chargers here.
Chargers, say less. Yeah. Next 3 o'clock game, we got Steelers at Raiders. Presumably, Devontae Adams is going to still be out with a hamstring issue.
Does he want to go to the Jets anymore? Probably not.
Not at all. I don't think so. Correct me if who won last week? Raiders or Broncos? I'm tripping.
The Broncos won last week.
Broncos won last week?
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the Steelers. Both teams coming off bad losses. Both offenses not being able to do anything. But I just trust the Steelers more, if I'm being honest. I think the Raiders are just a bad team. They just don't have too much talent, especially on offense. And I'm going to go with I'm going to go with the Steelers in return.
Yeah, me too. I'm going with the Steelers. I hate that I followed you on the last couple of ones, but that's just kind of how I feel about this one.
I know you try to catch out. Come on.
Well, hey, I had to pick differently for the first couple, but it just happened that we just agree because I think Pittsburgh is just a better team than Vegas. They sat Gardner Minshew last week, so we're going to be seeing Aiden O'Connell start at quarterback this week, presumably. I just think the Raiders are dysfunctional as hell. There's a lot going on in that locker room that we have no idea. So, yeah, I'll take the Steelers.
Steelers. Bet that. Next up, we got Falcons at Panthers. Falcons coming off that really dope Thursday night football win with Kirk Cousins. Big Kirko went nutty. And the Panthers still stink. I think this is another one where, correct me if I'm wrong, I think both of us probably going to agree on this one. Even though it is a divisional matchup, give me the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm taking Atlanta too. We don't need to talk too much about this one.
Say less. Then we go to our final 3 o'clock game. We got the Detroit Lions at the Dallas Cowboys. Lions coming off a bye. Dallas Cowboys coming up, like we talked about earlier, a really good win in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. Like I said, the Cowboys. I don't know how to feel because the Cowboys traditionally play pretty well against the Lions. Like won a tight game last year that they probably shouldn't have won. 2014, it was 2014. Had that crazy game with Romo and Terrence Williams in the playoffs. I want to say the Cowboys pulled another one this year, but I don't think so. I think I'm going to stick with the Lions. I think defensively, this is the game where Dallas gets hurt. I'm not worried at all about CD and Dak being able to move the ball against the Detroit defense. If they were able to move it against Pittsburgh, and which they were, they probably could have won that game by 20 or something points if Dak doesn't have a couple brain farts in the red zone. But I just don't know if they're going to be able to win a shootout against this defense, especially when you're going to need your playmakers to make big plays. And I think Dallas has more playmakers on their defensive side than the Lions have on theirs. The problem is all those boys, minus Trayvon Diggs, is going to be out. So I just don't know if they're going to have the firepower defensively, because they said, don't get me wrong, they said Bland might be coming back this week in limited reps. So it might be dope to finally get to see that Diggs and Bland combo, that all-pro combo that we didn't get to see last year. But at the same time, no D-Law, no Micah, no Nealand, it looks like, all three, and no Sam Williams. So you're on your fifth-string starters at the end. I don't see the pass for us being able to make much of an impact. Who knows? This might, again, this is the type of game that Dallas wanted Mike Zimmer for. Can you heat up a guy like Jared Goff when you don't have your pieces there? This is a game that I think Dallas fans want to see something from a Mike Zimmer defense. But unfortunately, I'm going to go with the Lions. I think they just have too much firepower, and I don't think Dallas is going to be able to win a shootout.
Man, I feel like the next two games were probably going to be pretty similar. So part of me just wants to pick the Cowboys, so we're a little different.
Yeah.
But all the reasoning you just brought up makes a lot of sense, man. The Cowboys are banged up. They did come off a really good win, though. I do want to see the Lions lose, just because they're in my division. It would make things a little easier for the Packers.
Let the hate come out. Let the hate come out.
So you know what? For one day and one day only, I will be rooting for the Dallas Cowboys over the Detroit Lions. And for my Cowboys friends out there, this is the one and only time that I'm rooting for the Cowboys. So don't make me regret it.
Oh, yeah. I hate telling good people bad news. I hate telling good people bad news. Next up, we got our Sunday Night Football game. We got the Cincinnati Bengals against the New York Giants in New York, which I don't know what to pick on this one. Again, the Giants ain't a terrible team. Daniel Jones is still Daniel Jones. Don't get me wrong, right? But they had a really good win against Seattle, where they were able to run all over the place on that defense. And they're playing a defense in Cincinnati that, again, isn't good at all. It really isn't. And Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow have been on fire the past 3 weeks, but they are 1-4. This is a must-win game for the Bengals. They can't be 1-5. I think if they lose this game to the Giants, effectively, especially the way the Ravens are playing, we know the Steelers are going to be around 8 or 9 wins. I don't know if they'll be able to pull it off. I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think they're going to be able to score enough points that Daniel Jones is going to be Daniel Jones and turn into a pumpkin. But, yeah, that's going to be my pick this week.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bengals too, which is crazy because we're both picking the team that's coming off a loss. But I think the Giants was just kind of a crazy game. The Seahawks, not that the Seahawks are a bad team, and neither are the Bengals, but I don't know. I just feel like the Giants are getting Malik Neighbors back this week too.
That is big for them.
Oh, I'm still gonna take Cincinnati though. I just have much. I feel so good about Joe Burrow, man. Joe Burrow's him.
Other than that first game of the season, he's been playing pretty lights out. He had that bad turnover though last week against Baltimore that kind of gave him the game at the end. But you could argue maybe it shouldn't have gotten to that point if Zach Taylor would have trusted him to drive before. But your record is what your record is. You're 1-4. You need this win. The Ravens are on fire. The Steelers might get a dub this week against Oakland. We don't talk about the Browns, but you need this win. You really need this win. And I think they're going to get it this week. I just don't trust the Giants in primetime. Now, if this was like a 3 o'clock game, 11 o'clock game, shit, I might be leaning more towards them. But, yeah, I think me and you matched up with this one again. All right, our final game, Monday Night Football, Bills at Jets. After the Robert Saleh fire, both teams, I want to say need a dub. The Jets definitely need a dub. Bills 3-2, Jets at 2-3. I'm going to go new coach bounce in New York, in the Meadowlands. Give me the Jets. I think the Jets pick up the dub against the Bills. I'm going to go with the upset. Give me the Jets over the Bills.
All right. Damn. That's actually really surprising. I feel pretty good about Buffalo. I don't know what the stat is on teams switching coaches for the first time, but I feel like it probably doesn't like match up as favorably with like backup quarterbacks. So I'm gonna take Buffalo here.
Fair enough.
But I really don't have anything else to say beyond Josh Allen. He's gonna be him, and the Jets are dysfunctional as all hell, as we talked about at the very beginning of this podcast. And if you've enjoyed what you've heard so far, you should definitely subscribe, like the video, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. And you can support the channel by just telling a friend about us, posting us on your story, and getting this out to other NFL fans just like you. So, Ethan, anything else you want to say about the NFL before we head out?
It's been an exciting year so far. I think we think about like the perennial favorites in the NFC. We think about teams like the 49ers, the Eagles, the Cowboys. All three teams have been mediocre to start the year. It's wide open. It is wide open for these teams, and I'm excited to see where the season goes. I think we're about to get through the first quarter of the year, and so yeah. Let's keep it pushing.
Sorry, we didn't recap. Teams on a bye this week, just because that's useful information. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Los Angeles Rams, the Miami Dolphins, and the Minnesota Vikings are all on bye weeks. So that's why there are 2 less games than usual. But this should be a fun week, Ethan. Excited to see how these records come out. Hopefully I can come out of one of these weeks with a winning record, but
yeah, it's not looking. Look, I'm putting it on you right now. I'm putting it on y'all.
You put hands and feet on me, but it's okay because I'm making money making bets. Yeah. If you really know ball, you should do the same.
No, I don't. I like my money. Sorry. I feel that's when my life is going to start changing. But thank you guys for watching. It's been another week of NFL picks with the AWR boys. Thank you guys for watching.
Yep. Thank you guys. Peace.